The trauma bond. Your brain on narcissistic abuse. Why do so many intelligent, strong people stay in relationships that are clearly destroying them? You might look at someone suffering in a toxic relationship and think, why don't they just leave? The answer isn't about weakness or poor judgment. It's about actual chemical changes happening in the brain. Changes that create bonds as powerful as any addiction. Your brain doesn't know the difference between unhealthy attachment and love. It only knows that certain people trigger powerful chemical responses that feel impossible to resist. With narcissists, these chemical responses become even stronger because of the extreme highs and lows they create. Like a psychological roller coaster you can't get off. When you first meet a narcissist, the love-bombing phase floods your brain with dopamine, the same feel-good chemical released when you eat chocolate or win at gambling. This creates a powerful high that your brain wants to experience again and again. You feel more alive, more seen, more understood than ever before. Your brain logs this person as a source of incredible reward. Then something shifts. The narcissist withdraws their affection, becomes critical, or shows coldness where there was once warmth. This sudden change triggers your stress response, releasing cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart races. Your anxiety spikes. You feel physically sick with worry. Your brain goes into survival mode, focused entirely on getting back to safety, which it now associates with the narcissist's approval. When the narcissist finally shows kindness again, after a period of cruelty, your brain experiences relief that feels almost euphoric. The contrast between pain and relief creates a much stronger emotional impact than consistent kindness ever could. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same mechanism that makes gambling so addictive. Think about a slot machine. If it paid out every time, you'd quickly get bored. But because it pays out unpredictably, you keep pulling the lever, hoping for that reward. The uncertainty itself becomes addictive. Narcissists create this same pattern. They're loving today, cruel tomorrow, indifferent the next day, then suddenly attentive again. You never know which version you'll get, so you stay vigilant, constantly working to earn back their love. This creates an actual addiction cycle in your brain. You crave the dopamine high of their approval and fear the cortisol crash of their rejection. The unpredictable nature of their responses keeps you hooked, always working for that next hit of validation. As Dr. Bessel van der Kolk notes in his research on trauma, the body keeps the score, recording every emotional high and low as a physical response. Research shows that leaving an abusive relationship triggers the same brain regions as withdrawal from drug addiction. You experience physical symptoms, nausea, insomnia, anxiety, depression, fatigue. Your brain literally craves contact with the person who hurt you, even when your logical mind knows they're dangerous. Prolonged exposure to narcissistic abuse changes your brain function in measurable ways. The constant stress keeps your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, in a state of hyperarousal. Your prefrontal cortex, which handles rational thinking, becomes impaired by stress hormones. Your hippocampus, crucial for memory formation, can actually shrink under chronic stress, making you more vulnerable to gaslighting. These brain changes explain why victims often report feeling like they're losing their minds. Your thinking becomes foggy. Your memory seems unreliable. Your emotions feel out of control. Your ability to make decisions becomes compromised. These are normal responses to abnormal levels of psychological stress. The hormonal changes explain why leaving feels physically impossible. Your body has adapted to the constant stress by releasing endorphins, nature's painkillers, to help you cope. When you try to leave, those endorphins stop flowing, and you experience physical pain and distress. Your brain interprets separation from the narcissist as a threat to survival. This powerful physiological attachment explains why victims often feel like they're dying when they try to leave. The pain isn't just emotional, it's physical. Your brain has become wired to the cycle of abuse, making separation feel as threatening as withdrawing from a powerful drug. The trauma bond also explains why outside support is so crucial. When friends or family say, "Just leave," they don't understand the powerful neurochemical bonds keeping you trapped. This misunderstanding often leads to shame and isolation. You wonder, why can't I just walk away? The answer is nothing's wrong with you. Your brain is functioning exactly as it's designed to in response to trauma and intermittent reinforcement. These brain changes connect to the spiritual and physical depletion. Many victims report the constant stress response taxes every system in your body. Your immune function decreases. Your digestive system becomes disrupted. Your sleep quality suffers. Over time, you feel empty, exhausted, and disconnected from yourself. Understanding the science behind trauma bonding helps reduce the shame and self-blame that keep many victims trapped. Knowing that your responses are normal reactions to abnormal behavior gives you permission to be gentle with yourself. As one survivor shared, "Understanding that my body was chemically addicted to the relationship finally helped me stop blaming myself for not leaving sooner." Breaking a trauma bond isn't a matter of willpower. It requires understanding the neurological processes involved and creating specific strategies to counter them. The good news is that the brain is remarkably adaptable. The same neuroplasticity that created these unhealthy bonds can be harnessed to heal them. This healing journey isn't quick or easy, but for countless survivors, freedom has come through understanding these invisible chains first. When the mind comprehends what the heart cannot accept, the path to recovery becomes clear. Though right now you may feel irresistibly drawn back to what hurts you, know that there is a way through. Each step away from the addiction bringing you closer to yourself again, breaking free, reclaiming your power. What if understanding these demonic parallels is actually the key to taking back your power? When you recognize that the behaviors you've experienced aren't just difficult personality traits, but systematic patterns of manipulation, something powerful happens. The mysterious hold these behaviors have had over you begins to weaken. There's something incredibly freeing about naming what you've experienced. When you can say, "That was gaslighting," or "They're feeding off my emotional energy," you take the first step toward breaking free. These patterns lose their power when brought into the light. What once felt like an unexplainable force controlling your life now has a name, a pattern, and most importantly, ways to counter it. Breaking free from a narcissistic relationship creates actual chemical changes in your brain that make leaving feel physically and emotionally impossible. The trauma bond creates an attachment as powerful as any addiction. Your brain has been rewired to seek the narcissist's approval and fear their rejection above all else. This understanding helps reduce the shame that keeps many people trapped. You aren't stupid for staying or weak for struggling to leave. You're experiencing a normal neurological response to abnormal treatment. Understanding this doesn't make leaving easy, but it makes it possible because you stop blaming yourself for your brain's normal responses. I recently heard from Sarah, who discovered these patterns after 3 years with a covert narcissist. She described the moment of recognition. It was like someone turned on the lights in a dark room. Suddenly I could see all the manipulation tactics that had confused me for years. Within months of recognizing what was happening, I found the strength to leave. Let's explore practical protection strategies. Complete separation is most effective when possible. No calls, text, social media connections, or messages through mutual friends. Each contact restarts the addiction cycle in your brain, prolonging recovery. Think of it like quitting smoking while keeping cigarettes nearby. The temptation makes healing nearly impossible. When no contact isn't possible, shared children, work connections, the gray rock method becomes essential. Make yourself as boring and unresponsive as possible. Like a gray rock, providing no emotional reactions. Give short, factual responses without emotion. Avoid sharing personal information. Don't react to provocations or show hurt. This works because narcissists feed on emotional reactions. When you stop providing those reactions, you become a poor source of supply. Many narcissists eventually reduce contact or move on to more responsive targets when they can no longer provoke the emotions they crave. Building support networks counters the isolation where narcissistic abuse thrives. When cut off from others, you have no way to reality check your experiences. Reconnecting with trusted friends and family, joining support groups, or working with a therapist who understands narcissistic abuse provides the external perspective needed to counter the distorted reality the narcissist created. Your brain can recover, but healing takes time and intention. During the relationship, your neural pathways were shaped to respond to the narcissist's inconsistent reinforcement. These pathways don't disappear overnight, but can be rewired through new experiences and deliberate practice. In early recovery, you might experience intense cravings for contact. Your body might feel physically ill, with symptoms similar to drug withdrawal. You might struggle with intrusive thoughts about the narcissist. These reactions aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of a trauma bond breaking. Each day you maintain boundaries gets easier as your brain forms new patterns. The demonic framework provides language for experiences that otherwise seem impossible to describe. When you recognize that the eerie emptiness behind their eyes, the strange energy drain after interactions, the uncanny ability to know your vulnerabilities, when you see that these experiences are real patterns, others have also noticed. You can trust your own perceptions again. You weren't imagining things. Your intuition was trying to protect you. This awareness creates empowerment beyond escaping one relationship. When you understand manipulation tactics, you develop psychological immunity. You notice red flags earlier in new relationships. You become more sensitive to subtle forms of gaslighting. Your boundaries strengthen because you understand their importance in protecting your reality and energy. Many survivors discover they eventually become stronger than before. The recovery process builds a remarkable resilience, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. Survivors develop enhanced ability to recognize manipulation, trust their intuition, value authenticity in relationships, and develop deeper compassion for others suffering. Understanding the demonic comparison helps you stay grounded in your reality when someone's behavior operates outside normal human patterns. This understanding helps you recognize that the problem isn't your perception, it's their behavior. You aren't too sensitive. They're genuinely harmful. You aren't overreacting. You're responding normally to abnormal treatment. Knowledge breaks the spell of narcissistic control. When you understand the tactics being used against you, they lose their power. Gaslighting only works when unrecognized. Reality distortion only succeeds when you doubt your perceptions. Emotional feeding only continues when you don't realize your energy is being drained. Naming these patterns illuminates your path forward. The obstacles don't disappear, but you can navigate around them. Find the exit and make your way to safety. This awareness becomes your most powerful protection, allowing you to reclaim your power and define your own reality once again. Recognizing these 7 demonic patterns isn't about labeling people as evil. It's about seeing clearly what's happening to you. The strange, disturbing feelings you've had weren't wrong. Your body and mind were responding normally to abnormal behavior. Now you have words for experiences that once seemed impossible to explain. The confusion when someone denied saying things you clearly heard. The emptiness you noticed during moments of supposed emotion. Your pain was a real response to unnatural behavior. Naming these patterns is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly everything becomes visible. You've taken that powerful first step toward freedom.